definition of freedom, justice, and equality for the black man, and where and when is it to be attained?
Well, take equality first. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad doesn't teach us to associate equality with whites. Equality has nothing to do with whites. We don't want to be equal with the white man. He's not the criteria or yardstick by which equality is measured. He's not in a position to tell us we are equal. It's not his right. It's not his to do. Equality, we want equality. We had equality before the white man was created. We had equality before the white man came into existence. And we want equality whether the white man is on this earth or not. Equality means the opportunity to develop all of our dormant potential, all of our dormant capability. And in developing this dormant capability, the right and the ability to stand on this earth on some land of our own and bring about a civilization and a society in which we will be completely independent, complete freedom to take care of the needs, to take care of the wants and the likes and the dislikes of our people, to establish our own nation, our own society, our own heaven, our own future. This is what we mean by freedom, by equality, and justice means as you sow, so.
Thank you for your time, Water, man. Thank you for your time, fam.
Salute, man. You know how we do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We just did a phenomenal live show, but I just wanted to do this pre-record with you, just a reaction video to this debate that happened in 1983 about the welfare system, because I grew up in a home that we was receiving welfare. The father wasn't in the house, and that system, it does a lot to the community. And I don't even think that it's just specifically the black community. I think less of black people receive welfare than any other race in the United States. But this is just an interesting conversation. It's Thomas Sowell and it's Friedman, Milton Friedman. I'm not too well informed on Milton Friedman, but I've been hearing about him and hearing his names and the things that he implemented in the books that he wrote. And I realized he come from a Jewish family, a two-parent household of two Jewish individuals. His mother and his father was Jewish, but he was born in America with his ideologies and everything. But I just want to ask you a question before we react to the video first. Did you grow up in a welfare home, fam?
I didn't grow up in a welfare home, fam. I grew up with my mom and my dad. And my dad he first started with a jewelry business when I was born. He was doing it on the streets as far as selling jewelry. Then he opened a jewelry shop. My family was never received a welfare check, was never on welfare check. My parents stay together to this day. And
that's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful. If my hand claps worked, I would definitely give you a round of applause, and mom and pops around.
Mom and pops, yeah.
That they stood on business. That's a beautiful thing. Even though I grew up in a home that received welfare, I promised to myself that I would never accept anything from the government when, I got older. I would never accept things that I feel like would hinder me and make me complacent. But now, as I think about capitalism and how people take advantage of taxes and grants and loans and stuff like that, I'm like, it's a lot of things that it's a lot of systems that creates a form of control and less freedom in America. Like people be in debt for life to go to school.
Yeah.
People be on welfare and get complacent and don't want to further their life. People contribute to the capitalist system. So when I was listening to this, it just sparked a interest in me to want to converse about it and include you in it and talk about Thomas Sowell, because I know you talked about Thomas Sowell before on your channel. I have too. Also, what's your thoughts about Thomas Sowell? Because people, since Trump is in office and the Republicans are running things and conservatives, they are exalting Thomas Sowell as like he should have been the president overall. He should have been the first black president. He is this and that, is the most intellectual black man to exist. And they're just saying a lot about Thomas Sowell right now.
Yeah, I think that's where it gets the problem. It's supposed to be the other way around. Anytime when our leaders come from our community, they get full. We feel them, we understand them, and we back them 100. But for some reason, Soul gets more of his push from the white community. So he's a very smart man, very educated, but I think his points are, more catered to what the higher ups message want to be, And I think in any kind of debate, in any kind of, you can focus in on a certain statistics or certain points and make it right no matter what, in whatever circumstance, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I agree with you, because it seems like the people that's in position and power speaks of him. They researched him. I just recently heard Nick Fuentes on the Patrick Beverly David, the PBD podcast, talk about his introduction to politics was through Thomas Sowell. And that's crazy. Let's get into the video though, and let the conversation build. Let's go, Water. If you hear anything in this video and you want me to pause it, just tell me.
Okay.
With the positive income tax, you're entitled to a certain amount of personal exemptions and deductions, and above that amount you pay tax. But suppose you have no income. Under a negative income tax, a fraction of your unused exemptions would be paid to you by the government, guaranteeing at least a minimum income. If you earned something, you'd still get a fraction of your unused exemptions, and you'd end up better off. As your earnings rose, the supplement to your income would become smaller and smaller until your earnings equaled your exemptions. At that point, you'd break even, neither paying tax nor receiving a subsidy. It's not an ideal system. It's not the system we might have liked to get into, but it's a system which would have the effect of eliminating the separation of the society into those who receive and those who pay, a separation that tends to destroy the whole social fabric. It would mean that we could, each of us, take advantage of opportunities that opened up without fearing that if by some chance we lost our jobs, it would be a long time before we could get back on assistance. It would be a system that would give all of us an incentive gradually to improve our lives, would perhaps enable us over time to work ourselves out of the kind of mess we've gotten ourselves into. A mess we've gotten ourselves into for the very best of motives, but with the very worst of results. We have become increasingly dependent on government. We have surrendered power to government. Nobody has taken it from us. It's our doing. The results? Monumental government spending, much of it wasted, little of it going to the people whom we would like to see helped. Burdensome taxes, high inflation, a welfare system under which neither those who receive help nor those who pay for it are satisfied. Trying to do good with other people's money simply has not worked.
The discussion is
Before the debate start though, Water,
Yeah.
he said trying to do good simply with other people's money just has not worked. They talking about this in 1983. The people that's receiving the money on welfare isn't satisfied, and the people that's paying into the system with their tax dollars isn't satisfied. So I think during this debate, they're going to talk about what could be altered in the system, even though this was crazy is that this it still exists. This was 83, fam. This was 42 years ago.
Damn. Yeah, how long we've been alive then? Damn, but it's still prevalent to today. But in my point, it just shows capitalist because I mean, when did you have to govern a group of people and have to give them some money? I mean, with this country, you know, it had to be some type of capitalism that had because I'm sure people was here just minding their business. It has to be somebody that, you know, orchestrated this.
Mm. Because like think about it, the poor people is the people that get involved in gang activity. They commit crimes because they are dealing with lack, and that's a system that the government is actually profiting off of, and then giving people back that's on welfare peanuts after
Yeah,
that. You know, it's just an interesting concept.
it's
The
like an
well,
influence check. Yeah, you know, sometimes it's just like, you know, but you got to go by these rules and regulations as well. But I want to hear what they got to say with this.
let's get to it. Let's get to it.
already underway here at the University of Chicago, so let's join it.
As I looked at the film, I had a growing sense of anger. Anger that that position failed to recognize that the system that was being attacked was necessary in our capitalistic free enterprise system that by its own failure produces poverty and therefore requires governmental intervention in the interest of those people caught in the traps of poverty. So as I sat and looked at the film and as I hear Dr. Friedman's statement, I was aroused to the point, as I said, of anger, because only half the story is told. We are really blaming again a victim, this time a system, the welfare system, for the failure of other systems to operate in the interest of people.
Let's get other reactions now to that statement. Trying to do good with other people's money simply has not worked. The welfare system is rotting away the very fabric of society. Tom Sowell.
My reaction was just the opposite. My anger was at what had been created in the city where I grew up under very different conditions during the period of capitalistic failure, during the period when there wasn't this humanitarianism, and where it was possible for people to live better and to get out of that poverty. Now, I think someone living in the very same place where I lived would find it much harder to escape from that poverty because of all these things. Buildings were not abandoned like the buildings that we saw in that film when I lived in Harlem. The crime rate, all the things that are blamed upon the failures of the previous method did not exist. I slept out on the fire escapes in Harlem. I would defy anybody to do that in any part of New York City today.
Traditionally, in the United States, we have tried to avoid some of the welfare trap that was referred to by denying eligibility to people who are able-bodied and not aged and so on. And we have therefore tried to close the welfare door to a good number of categories within the poor population. The second point that was emphasized, and I think needs to be put in some perspective, is that some, but not all, of what we might call welfare programs broadly have this very strong take-back of benefits as you earn some more money. And that, I guess, is what I would like to single out as the principal problem identified in the film, but it is not common to any and all welfare programs that one might think of.
When the family fails, when the private sector fails to create jobs at a fast enough rate, you find that people are unemployed and drift into needing help in order to exist. And the welfare system was created in the 30s to do exactly that. When the private sector essentially failed, we have the development of a welfare system. It is not corrupting society. It is taking what society institutions have left behind. The family breaking up, the economy not expanding fast enough, the health system failing, the educational system not doing its job. We have untrained, unskilled people looking for jobs in a highly technical society, or jobs that pay so low that people cannot, in fact, live in a decent level of humanity. I see the welfare system not corrupting, but in fact taking the remains and attempting to help people live in dignity.
So,
Talk to me, Walter. Talk to me.
It's funny they said that the welfare system started in the 1935, and that's around all the times when all of the black towns was burnt down from 1921, Black Wall Street. I think the latest was 1934, if I'm not mistaken, give or take, and that was in Florida. So what I'm saying is, then welfare came. So welfare is kind of like a direct descendant of like burning down our pretty much our wealth, you know? So it's like it's more of a slap in the face on top of it because you can just give me back what was mine or just
Yeah.
repair what was done. You ain't
hmm
gonna do that. You gonna destroy what I had and now feed me peanuts to make me poor instead of like, me starting from where I was at.
hmm
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think it's deep. Deep is it's deeper than black people, but that is what we prioritize. You
Right.
know, we prioritize our own. So, you know, tearing down the communities and giving people crumbs to take their land and their wealth and their structure, financial structure that they created for themselves. That was a threat to the system that they had implemented because they're not of need anymore and they always want to be of need. When I think about the current America and recently Trump just gave HBCUs some money.
Mhm.
We should if we was to be left alone to have our own financial structure in those communities that we was building up, we wouldn't even have needed the government, you know what I'm saying, finances. They want us to be in need of them though. But what's crazy to me is when they was talking about everybody that spoke so far talked about family. And when I think about family, I think that's the strength of a nation. What's your thoughts on that though, Water? Like is the strength of a nation the family structure?
Yeah, the family structure and the morals and the principles, you
Mhm,
know, keeping that family together.
mhm.
Um, yeah, I think that that's the most important part of a society. That's what you think about, like when you think of over there in the Middle East. What do you think? What comes to your mind?
Structure,
Yeah,
unity, the
yeah,
the need to be in a family structure because that's
yeah,
the only way we're gonna thrive. If we create a business, all of us working here, this is the family's business. What it ain't no such thing really as family business no more in America. Not I don't
right.
see it that often. I don't see people just wanting to create families no more. It's like I think that's a weakness within the country, the family structure, and they saying
Yeah,
that
I
that
agree.
that welfare system is the start of the hindrance. Now we got the LGBTQ community and certain elements that is hindering the family structure, and I think that is part of the strength of a nation. Hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's get
I,
back to it. Let's get back to it then, Water. Let's hear these folks out.
Rotting away the fabric of society is not supported except perhaps by you. Would you back that phrase?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're talking about the failures of the other parts of society. What the welfare system and other kinds of governmental programs are doing is paying people to fail. Insofar as they fail, they receive the money. Insofar as they succeed, even to a moderate extent, the money is taken away. This is even extended into the school systems, where they will give money to schools with low scores. Insofar as the school improves its education, the money is taken away, so that you are subsidizing people to fail in their own private lives and become more dependent upon the handouts.
We have expectations built in today about the quality of life, the quality of job, the level of income for which one expects in return. Why? Because we look at the level around us that it takes us to have
No,
a
that's not
fairly
why.
decent level
No,
of
that's not why. I may have all sorts of expectations. The question is, what can I do? If someone else is subsidizing my expectations will be far higher. Insofar as the Center for Advanced Study was subsidizing my expectations a few years ago, I refused to work at UCLA for the normal full professor's salary. Why should I when I can get the same money for being at the Center for Advanced Study with no hours, no duties, and no classes?
Let's look at another proposition in Milton's case, the insidious effect.
Hold up, fam. Hold up. I'm sorry, I'm stopping it, and they just got into their point or whatever though.
you good.
I'm trying to understand the ideology of paying people to fail. I'm kind of lost in that area right now. So welfare is paying people to fail. Like, I know you said you didn't come from, you know what I'm saying, that background, but do you think that welfare makes people complacent because they don't have to do nothing to survive? Or is that the majority, or some people, does it make them hungry and make them want to go out and do more? This is an interesting concept.
I
Paying
think
people.
it's an illusion, you know,
Mm,
me. Have it or not, I think that at a certain point, some riches and some billions got stole. And certain people who are you're giving this money to probably got robbed or probably had real money that's coming to them. So
mhm.
we not really getting to the, I mean, I just feel like it's an illusion. It's like it's not really, whether you give it to them or not, we still not getting to the bottom of the problem here. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, the roots.
Yeah, it's like both of these, it don't matter. It definitely matters about, you know, how we grooming the kids and what education are there, and are these kids a threat to big capitalists? No. Is how can somebody be poor and be a threat to the big organizations?
That's impossible, ain't it?
Right. And that's the only way where it's gonna be able to get there. If not, it don't matter if you getting spoon fed or not. You still got to get to that point to be able to disrupt the system. You know what I mean? For the people at the bottom, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
But
agree
none
with
of these, yeah, but none of these, I don't think they care about the solution that much. It's really just
a conversation.
a conversation about a problem that you know, I can put here or there, but we ain't actually doing no work into fixing the real problem to me. How you feel?
It's been going on for 42 years and it's still the same structure that's being used. That's why, like, on the last episode when we was live, I was talking about the United States is being crippled right now because of all of the elements that needs to be altered, that
Right.
isn't looking out for the best interests of the people. Taxation, welfare, it's all sorts of things. I forgot some of the things that I mentioned on the previous episode, but it's so much that is like certain laws need to be altered, need to be modified to modern times. It's
Right.
it's, it's too much, fam. That is like outdated. And some country is gonna become the superpower because they created a new system that is more beneficial to the people as a whole.
Modern, yeah. Hmm.
Modernize. That's just what I think about it, because paying people to fail, and it's still going on. That's what he said. That's what Thomas Sowell said. And then after he said that, he said, "You paying people to fail, and if some sort of way they succeed, you take the benefits away from them." Let's let the video keep playing, fam.
Effect on those who receive welfare. They lose their human independence and dignity, are treated like children, and so on. Now, Dr. Thompson, as a former administrator of a major program, is that a great hazard?
That is not a great hazard. As a matter of fact, that presumes that people get on welfare, stay on welfare, and therefore have the result that Dr. Friedman's statement issues. The fact of the matter is that in our AFTC programs throughout the country, in particular, it was true in New York, there is a gradual turnover of the welfare AFTC rolls. About a third of them go off each year. Now, if these people were so destroyed by the system, when they go off, they wouldn't go into employment, they wouldn't hold employment, they wouldn't stay off the rolls for 6 months, 18 months, 24 months, as long as they are able to stay off. So there's something wrong with that argument when one looks at people and what they do. People, who are poor are no different from those of us who are not poor. And their motivation for self-dependency, self-support, And mobility in the economic scale is no different than than the motives we have. So that they will not let the system. You remember, Dr. Friedman, the welfare rights organizations who refused to let the system squelch them down as it was attempting to do. And we turned the policies around.
You and I agree completely. But the people who are poor and are on welfare rolls are no different from the rest of us. Of course not. They are human beings, and they deserve every sympathy and every possibility of making their own way. But the welfare system makes them different.
But you give them
it makes it in their interest to be
How
different.
do you account for them going off the rolls?
But figures are figures, and you've got to be careful with figures. The fact that there's a turnover of a third does not mean that there aren't half who are on all the time. People come on, go off, come on, go off. We've got to have the other figure.
The latest statistic, Dr. Friedman, is that 34% of the people on AFDC are on for 5 years or longer. And when one thinks of the purpose of the AFDC program, which was the rearing and support of children, dependent children, minor children, I would submit to you that 5 years is not a terribly long time for a mother and children to have to be dependent if there's no other source of income.
I think the
He's brutal. That man right there is brutal, Val.
Yeah, they definitely brutal, but it's like they caused this, the Great Depression. I feel like all of this is manufactured crises that they made to profit, So, you burnt down these towns. You did all of this to make the dollar, crumble down. All of this is part of the game. You got to starve the people. You can't. This is how it got to this point. You get what I'm saying? This was game that was ran, bro.
Most definitely. I agree with you. What's you making me aware of about the Great Depression, the times in the 30s when the towns was burned down? This happened right after the Great Depression. They started implementing this and all of that. And it wasn't just our finances messed up. The whole country's finances was messed up. And then that's when the GI Bill and all of that got put in place, and people got to get homes, and they hindered black military soldiers and stuff that came back from war and didn't allow them to get those benefits. Um, what's interesting about this part of the conversation is that he said 5 years ain't that bad for you to be dependent. What's crazy, growing up in the community that I grew up in, I see a lot of women who was receiving these benefits, and I don't know about in 83, it might have been 5 years, but these people was dependent until the child got grown and left the home. And then when the child turned 18 and the benefits stopped, what you think the woman did, fam? Like, she didn't know what to do because she had been receiving welfare for 18 years until that child was grown. And then the benefits stopped. Do you think they're gonna want to get up and want to go to work? Are they gonna wanna, fight when they 45? Like most people have kids when they 18, 19. The females anyway, and they receive them benefits till they 38. And he's talking about it ain't a bad thing to be dependent for 5 years. I feel like why, we living in times where opportunity is scarce. Um, it ain't the government job to create jobs, is it?
It's not the government job to create jobs, but if you look at it, to live, right, you got to feed yourself, you got to house yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the illusion of the advertisement and the growing of America that will make someone feel like they can't afford to live. So to even have that thought is like stupid. Do you get what I mean?
Most definitely.
It
Because
don't even make sense. It's like we already lost. If we there, it's already a problem because now we're putting the power into something else that we already got the power with just being here. The things are here for us, but everything has been so much monetized that now it's gonna be people that's gonna be left left astray because that's what the system do. It's not a collective. It's not for everybody's well-being. It's only for a group of people who can get jobs, who can be entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? It's selective. it ain't a system where it's just everybody's gonna thrive. It don't work like that. You get what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I feel like all it is like, what are we talking about? You get what I'm saying? Like,
Because when you say the word illusion, it makes me think back to when we was talking about something earlier that isn't a reality. Um, white supremacist. On the last show, I was saying that it's a ideology, it's a mind thing. I feel like it's a mind thing. To feel like you're lacking and you need assistance from, you know, if I was getting checks and food stamps, I don't even know where it's coming from.
that's what I'm saying. I
Like I
mean,
didn't.
you're an intelligent being. Look at these animals out here. You know what I mean? Imagine telling a squirrel you're gonna give him some welfare so he can eat and take care of himself. At some point, it's gonna get ridiculous. It's like, bro, we we out here really, and this is what we doing. I mean, this they having these talks this long ago, so it's like capitalist is just is that is, and you want capitalism, but it has to be morals, principles, that has to be in
And
place.
it's zero in it.
Yeah, zero.
For them to sit here and have this conversation and us to think that it's morals or it should be implemented in it, but it isn't, because they could give a shit about the person that's getting shot. They in Chicago having this conversation.
Right, but this is great advertising for somebody to say, "Hey, you don't want to be poor. You better make sure you get up and work. You better make sure you." Either way, fam, it's still bringing you down the rabbit. It's bringing you down that squirrel, that
At some,
hamster wheel. Mm-hmm.
because the job, if you go get a job and you don't want to be poor, then you dependent upon that and that repetitive cycle. If you give up and you tired and you get on welfare, then you dependent upon that repetitive cycle. You have to free yourself. You have to free your mind.
Yes, man. You're gonna have to free from this whole thinking of this whole way of thinking that they want you to think like. It's just crazy.
I need to read before I play the video again. I need to read the definition of a system because I don't know
Oh
it. Water, do
no, you done booted me out. I'm out there. I'm still up.
you? Nah, you ain't up, but you are now.
Oh, okay.
I'm putting. I apologize, fam. I apologize. It's a system of things working together as parts of a mechanism or an interconnected network. A set of principles or procedures according to which something is done and organized, framework or method. Hmm. The prevailing political or social order, especially when regarding as oppressive or in transit. Don't try bucking the system. Mm. Don't try bucking
Right.
the. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's
But you
crazy.
said something. You was like, everybody needs to know what tribe they come from and
Mhm.
understanding who they are. And this is where I think a lot of this is going end up, where people are going to understand where they are, what they, what they're owed, or what they, land that was theirs. You
Mhm.
showed me a video of the other day, somebody going to a land saying, "Hey, these is my people's land."
Mhm.
So once you begin to know yourself and understand where you come from, I think a lot of this is minutia.
It's crazy about you
For
saying
lost people, it's for lost people, you know.
that. Ooh, and that's and what by you saying that shows me the power in erasing people's history and having people identify with a social construct such as black and white, because if you don't know who you are, you don't know what you will not accept.
Right,
You know who you are, you know what you will not accept.
right,
Because that's not, I ain't accepting that, man. That's too, that's I can't do that. That ain't for me.
right.
My soul don't identify with that. So That's crazy though, man. I appreciate that, Water. You brought that back to my perspective. No knowledge of self. That's might be the most powerful knowledge.
Yeah, shoot.
Let's get back to the video for a moment, man, and we're gonna
Right.
play it for a little while and close it on out. And I just wanted to have this conversation with you, my brother.
That was a good one, man. That was a good one. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Other data, we have a program in Pennsylvania for essentially all of those who are not taken care of by the AFDC program. It's called a General Assistance Program, and there, less than 15% are on more than 18 months. So we have a great turnover. We have essentially young males moving into the welfare system after unemployment compensation and then moving out when a job opportunity comes along. This, I think the notion of generations of people on welfare is a very small minority in the whole system. That doesn't mean that the system as presently defined and as the set of programs that we have put together don't often contradict each other. And I'm the first to agree with Dr. Friedman that some of the programs are conflicting. However, I think it is overly broad to say that we turn people into helpless children.
I don't remember talking to anyone who's ever been on welfare who didn't think they were being treated like children while they were on it.
Of course, one must make a difference, a distinction between the system that was set up to help people and the people who are employed in that system. Look at any public welfare system around the country, and we have practically few trained people to work with people. We employ the ill-trained, people who are not equipped to be helping people. We say they're social workers. They're not social workers. They have neither the skills, the attitudes, and some of them not even the concern. So I think one has to separate out a conceptual framework of a system designed to help people and what the country and community puts into that system to implement those programs.
You mean separate the hopes from the reality?
I separate the skills that are available in order to implement what the objectives of the program are. And I think we have to separate whether we're talking about program objectives or we're talking about how it operates. I would be the first to say that the system that I administered had ill-prepared people to do the job that we were set up to do. But I would not say that the system that we set up.
I talked to some social welfare people who think that, in fact, they were so hamstrung by the system that there was very little they could do to help people to get off welfare. That is, to build up skills, get jobs, do whatever was necessary to get off welfare. They felt it was the system.
Bob Lappin, you
Well,
want to
the
comment?
system that we're stereotyping is one of a great deal of paternalistic interference in individual families' lives. And in fact, isn't this true, Mr. Dumpson? The caseload is so high for an individual welfare worker that they can't do a lot of interfering in individual family lives. Moreover, in the last decade, there's been a real attempt to ease this welfare trap in AFDC by changing the take-back rate and by administering work expenses and child care expenses in such a way as to facilitate work by those who may want to do it. So it's not quite as harsh a picture as we sometimes get, that there is this omniscient welfare worker who's right there in the living room with the family making all their decisions for them.
I've never heard of a government program which was defective, in which the people who ran it didn't say, if only we had more money to spend on what we're not being able to accomplish with the amount we're spending now.
Milton, I'm going to move on now to some of your prescriptions in that film because I think it's a good ground for discussion. The most drastic one was when you said, speaking of an unemployed man, supposing you were cruel and took away welfare from this man, he would find a job at some wage. There would always be a job he could get. He might need some charity en route, private charity, but he would get a job. Now, I want you to react, those of you, before we come back to Milton on that. Is that a picture that seems plausible to you?
He may get a job.
I don't know too many men on welfare that's receiving welfare benefits. It may have been that in that time, but now they removed the man and the woman received the welfare so she can take care of the child.
Right. The man is like out there. You gotta fend for yourself.
Yeah, like he come back get a job. Like that's regular. Men work regardless, and then they can't be in the home if they working. You know
Mm-hmm.
what?
Mm-hmm.
What I heard in this, and we can close the show off. I want to know your perspective of what you heard out of all of this. But what I took from all of what was just said in this last clip was generations of people on welfare. That's what that woman said. Now, that is a statement that let me know that reparations is a debt that's old. Generations. She said it's been generations of people on welfare. While these people that is speaking and those people that's in the corporate sector and in politics and all of that is creating generational wealth, it's families that has been receiving welfare for generations. That's sick.
It's sad. And the sad part about it is you taking a lot of wealth from us that we would have had. You're talking about trillions of dollars that was right now. If you would equate to that money at that time, if you would have just kept everything running, nothing could have, what catastrophic could have happened is a bomb would have had to. This is the only catastrophic thing that could have really came up, the way there's no accountability that could have been taken from a people, raw like this. The town burned down and they don't do nothing about it. It's like, your airport's gone, your airplane's gone, all the wealth that you had is gone. And
bank gone, your farmers, your farm gone, your food structure gone, everything, your library gone, your media company gone, because black folks had their own newspaper, their own company, everything. Like, golly, you take everything and give folks $40 a month so they can feed themselves.
Right. And then you was bringing so many people over here from it was the Homestead Act. When you was bringing all of these Europeans over here, Irish, you were bringing them over here, and now you trying to bring people over here and then gonna try to act like, oh man, we need welfare system, and they're benefiting off of it more than we was. It's like it's a lot of corruption. It's just, when I look at it right now, it's just corruption, and it's like y'all trying to now speak on giving people their money when a lot of people that's here was supposed to have been, filthy. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. That's in closing to all of this. I like what you said. I don't think nothing else need to be said. People get the gist of it. If you watch this episode, man, we appreciate you if you subscribe to the channel and tap in with me and Water God TV.
Oh, yeah.
In our reality, this ain't nothing but financial corruption. That's all it is. For real.
Facts. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Corruption, man.
What you got to say in closing, Water, to this?
Man, that's it, man. It's corruption, man. And damn, I like to touch on more topics like this, man. I'm glad you pulled this up. This is a good eye-opener for people to understand that they really speaking about feeding people without talking about the basics of feeding people. You get what I'm saying?
And what you talked about midway through this podcast is the most important thing people should take from this. Is everything is in the mind. Like, that's low vibrational to think that somebody needs to feed you. That's like telling a squirrel that you can't go get your own nuts. Paul. That you don't take care of yourself, we'll take care of you. That's an action that every human being has.
Automatically. Yeah.
That's an action. If I'm removing that action from you. Wow. Hey, man, what you saying closing on your show's Water, man?
Man, keep pushing health, wealth, and a better understanding of self.
Peace, love, plenty of abundance. Make sure you go get you some money. Make sure that you tune in to the boys, man. We'll be back next Sunday. We appreciate y'all, man.
Is the definition of freedom, justice, and equality for the black man, and where and when is it to be attained?
Well, take equality first. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad doesn't teach us to associate equality with whites. Equality has nothing to do with whites. We don't want to be equal with the white man. He's not the criteria or yardstick by which equality is measured. He's not in a position to tell us we are equal. It's not his right. It's not his to do. Equality, we want equality. We had equality before the white man was created. We had equality before the white man came into existence. And we want equality whether the white man is on this earth or not. Equality means the opportunity to develop all of our dormant potential, all of our dormant capability. And in developing this dormant capability, the right and the ability to stand on this earth on some land of our own